What up, y'all? Kev here, back with another trade recap video. Today we took a short, we took a short on NQ, making about $300. First take profit was hit, second take profit was not hit. We left a lot of money on the table today. But before we get into that, we did not take a trade today because of CPI, as well as today being my birthday. Did not take a trade today, slept in. But this is a recap on yesterday's trade on June 10th. And yeah, let's get into it. Overall, lots of mistakes, lots of great things today. Lots of mixed feelings, mixed emotions, second thoughts on the trade, just because of all this crazy consolidation and just shitty price action. But before we get into that, overall bias for the day was short. We didn't change our bias, we were short going into the market. Why? Because Monday we had this huge move down. Then we started retracing, started becoming pretty extended to the upside. We had this big fair value gap that we filled. On top of that, we had this London high that we created. We then swept that out off of market open. What I was looking for was the push down, sweeping out some key lows, and overall trying to take out this hourly London low. However, we never did that. Other than that, we also were in hourly equilibrium to the sell side, retraced up into this discount. I'm looking to sell out of that. I wasn't really expecting us to come out and sweep these highs just yet because we were in bearish equilibrium. We filled this fair value gap, and I was overall just waiting for a reaction out of the fair value gap, but on the lower time frames, because we had some lower time frame fair value gaps. Other than that, we also swept out this high, so waiting for reaction off of that. Not really going to go long after sweeping out a high and being in a bearish fair value gap and bearish equilibrium. It's just too many high time frame confluences going against my bias. Not really looking to do that. And also, we were just super extended to the upside. I was looking for some type of retrace, which is exactly what we got. Jumping into the 15-minute time frame, marked as some 15-minute lows because we only had that hourly low. So I was looking for other areas of take profit and just areas for market to target. Other than that, jumping down into the 5-minute, we had this 5-minute fair value gap. Going down into the 1-minute, we had a 1-minute fair value gap. Now, when the market opened, we were obviously bullish. We manipulated up to the upside. Not only that, but we were bullish on every other higher time frame. So I was using those fair value gaps as kind of to see a reaction off of that, then looking for a continuation off of that. Now, off of market open, we came up, filled both fair value gaps, flooded the downside. Me personally, we had this trade opportunity here to go short here. However, we were still respecting a bullish fair value gap here, which made me not want to enter. Thankfully, I did not. We ended up coming out, re-sweeping this high, filling the entire 1-minute fair value gap and 5-minute fair value gap to then push back down, inversing this 1-minute fair value gap. I got enough of the continuation when we tapped into the fair value gap and closed below. I then entered, also filling in 1-minute equilibrium. Unfortunately, we were consolidating for a very, 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 very long time. Lots of emotions going on, second thoughts about the trade, shitty price action, but one thing that kind of kept me going through this was sticking to your stop loss. You know, we backtest a million times every day for a reason, and we study for hours on end for a reason. So where we put a stop loss, there is a reason for the stop loss. If you don't have a reason to put the stop loss there, why are you putting it there? My reason was putting it right at the high or right below the high, just because if we came up and came out of that, we're probably going to re-sweep liquidity, taking me out of the trade regardless. So that was my reason for my stop loss. Thank the Lord that I had it there because we never got stopped out. And then finally, we got a 5-minute break structure going to the downside. We also, on the reason why we're taking so long here is also on ES. We had some more highs that we had to take out to re-sweep market open. Other than that, we're filling in some more fair value gaps on ES that we already filled on NQ. So it was just a lot of chop for no reason. Well, there was a reason, but a lot of chop. I was pissed, so obviously. But yeah, a lot of chop. We finally then flooded to the downside. This is where things got a little crazy. First take profit was at the 15-minute low. Second take profit was at the hourly low. Obviously, could have had my take profit at bullish equilibrium. Could have had my full take profit here. Could have had my full take profit at the 15-minute low. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. A lot of different things that were going through my mind of where my stop loss or my take profit could have been. But overall, first TP was here. Rest of it got stopped at break even. Left about $700 more on the table, if not more. So it was a little frustrating to see that. One thing that I realized though, going into next time, if a move like this happens, crashing, just flooding to the downside in profit, is obviously taking one take profit. But the second thing is trailing a stop loss. Now that's not really something that I do. I usually, after taking one take profit, I move my stop loss to break even until my second take profit gets hit, or getting stopped at break even, like what happened today. However, in a scenario like this where we're just flooding to the downside in profit, there was no news posted. I'm not sure if there was news posted or anything. It was right at 11:30, so maybe there was some news that I just didn't know. But with something like this, I probably should have trailed my stop loss, because you never know if it's just gonna react and turn around and just come straight up, but also you don't know if it's just gonna keep on flooding to the downside, therefore then making more money, capitalizing on basically a lucky move, you know what I mean? Obviously I didn't do that. Got the rest stopped out at break even, only securing $300 on the day, which is basically like a 1-to-1. Not really what I intended. However, other than that, that was the trade for the day. Didn't trade today because of CPI. Tomorrow is Thursday. We got PPI and unemployment claims. It's gonna be a little crazy. However, it's all at 8:30, so we're gonna try and look to take a trade. Gonna be safe. And yeah, Friday should look pretty good too. Other than that, that was a trade for today. Peace.